To make the mochi box book, I take the mochi box and I fold in two of the tabs which will go along the spine. Next, cut off the excess paper. Keep two of your tabs folded in and then cut off the rest of the tabs. Keep some of your tabs for later. Next step, glue down the tabs that you saved. Press firmly, and I use a brayer to make sure it sticks. This will result in a clean edge on your spine. When measuring, I'll give a tip. Measure outside of the fold line. Make sure you get the width and the height. Next, take a cereal box or any cardboard of choice. Mark your measurements, and this will become your internal covers that you glue down. After getting the width and height, cut two. You get this. Make sure they fit your cover internally and you don't run over the edge. And here's a tip. To get rid of that glossy finish side so the glue sticks better, I carefully peel up paper on the cardboard. Then I tear it off as smoothly as possible. This can take a little work. I take my cardboard, place it on my paper of choice decoration, and then I mark how large it needs to be. It'll get through this once you cut it out. Now that we have our papers glued down, you can see, set this aside. Take your cover. With a black stamped ink pad, I ink the edges. I do this all the way around. Also, you want to do the same thing to the internal cover page down. Next, take Liquitex varnish or gloss of your choice and seal the papers that you glued down to your internal covers. This will give it durability. You can see now I have my signature separators. These are the main parts that make my signature sections. To create the mochi sections, I take another box, cut off the tabs, and then cut it in half and add papers. I will show you how I do this. Fold in your creased part. Cut two papers the same size as the box. Next, glue down the paper, one side to cover up the cardboard cover. Press firmly and brayer it on. On the other side, where the swelling part is, add more glue. Then attach your other paper set. You then get this, 2 paper pages that will be their separators for your signatures. Next, I will show you how I do the green tea box section. This is fun. You can see one part flips up in the pocket, but this part needs an extra pocket. So what I did was take a piece of paper, embossed on one side, added a fold at one side, bottom, and a fold on the other. What I'm going to do first is add some glue to the one side of your loan tab. Next, you want to take your paper, line it up with the fold, and press it in place. Flip to the other side. Now that we have our other side, glue along the smaller fold. This will be the pocket. Fold the page over and press firmly against your tab. Now, make sure you can get under there. Apply glue to the larger tab. Lift up your pocket and slip in your large fold. And press down and smooth out. Later, I'll add double stick tape to the pocket on the smooth parts so they better stick and create a second pocket on this internal part. Now you can see I have all my sections for my signatures. Just add color. I will make a tip. When measuring for your pages, you want to measure the full size of the cover and then make sure to cut your pages a few millimeters shorter. This will ensure that your pages do not push out and slop over the edge of your cover. Now we mark spots for where we're going to put our brad and eyelet. I measure across and use the ruler as a guide. Once you've done this, I'm going to take a pokey tool or tools of your choice to make the holes and create those spots. Now you can see I have my holes. One's larger for the eyelet, another is just brad. We take our brad and we firmly push it. Now I make an elastic thread loop and tie a knot on it. I take my eyelet. I push my eyelet through the hole, and then I'm going to put the elastic loop around the eyelet and tack it in place. This will result in a firmly held elastic thread, which will be your closure.
Okay, now that I have all my signatures made, put together, and I have my cover pretty much finished except for the inner part, this is the most important part that I usually do for most of my books in order to apply my signatures into the cover. What I do is I take a piece of paper, of my choice, whatever color you want. I usually use black. And I make a measurement of how wide the spine of my cover is. And then what you want to do is you want to measure it slightly outside of the fold of your spine. And you want to score these spots so that you get what is called a paste down. That will allow you to put your signatures into the book and these paste down onto the cover, which means they stay attached. And this is basically the main part. So I usually do a little guessing on my hole placement. And once I get that down, I just draw them in. And I usually do about 6 holes. And I measure about a centimeter or half a centimeter away from the edge of both ends on my spine area. So the next step you want to do after you do this is you want to poke your holes with the pokey tool, and you want to score your lines. So I'll get back to you. Okay, you can see that I have now poked my holes, and I bent my I scored my line areas. And what I do next is, in order to hide the pencil marks, I flip it around, and this is going to glue down into the book. So you can see it's like maybe a millimeter smaller than the actual height of the book, and this will make it so it glues in like that on either side and holds in your pages. So the next step is to take a signature, and I usually just line up my signature with each set of holes, and I will mark where the holes are onto my signature. So I'll mark each spot, and then I will poke my holes into my signatures and sew them into place. Okay, you can see I now have my holes poked in my signatures, and the next thing I do is I'm going to take my paste down spine, and I get a good amount of thread, and I also wax it to reduce friction. And the first thing you want to do is go through the bottom hole of your first line. Pull your needle through and leave a little bit of a tail, just a little. And then you're going to start by sewing through your first signature, which is kind of hard to do on camera, so I'm going to get back to you. The first signature you can see is now sewn in, and there's my tail, and it just leads up into here. So what you do next is you continue going through your holes, which the next one will be down, and once you go down, you'll sew all the way through, and once you get to the end, we'll tie a knot. Now the first 2 signatures are in. You want to continue through all your holes and do this for the other 2. Then you'll end it off with another knot. And here is what it looks like when all your signatures are sewn into your spine paste down. So you got these, and then they're all sewn in. And yes, you just make a knot down at the bottom after you're done, and now comes the gluing.
Now that we have our spine glued to or sewn to our pages, we're going to glue down our paste downs. Place your spine part along your main spine, line up the cover with the paste downs, and then firmly press down the paste down. Sprayer into place to make sure it's sticking on. And do this to the other side. Now that we have the paste down glued, we're going to take our internal covers that we created, and we're going to add glue to this. Then we add this to our internal cover. This will cover up the bulkiness of our eyelet and brads. Press firmly, and you're going to have to work at it a little bit. I use the brayer. You have to work around the bulk of the brad. And I like to use a bone folder to get into those small corners. And now the completed book.